Sir Graham Lowe, Warriors season is over. That's it. We are done. Graham, thanks for joining us. Is that the truth?
Oh, heck, I suppose if you're a Warriors supporter, you've got to say no and you rely on hope. But one of the main things you have to do in the NRL is remove hope at every opportunity, because you just need to rely on hard work for one another, and hope actually starts to drag you down.
Well, I think that the only truth about this team and the only reality about this team is the points table. 7 wins out of 18. That's the season. Now, Graham, we can talk about everything. We can talk about injuries. We can talk about referees. We can talk about bad luck. We can talk about origin. We can talk about whatever we want. But you know and I know that this isn't a talking league. It's a winning league. And when you've won 7 games out of 18, there's nothing more to say, is there?
That's at the end of the day. That's what I'm saying. You've got to remove any hope from it, because hope will drag you down, and you've got to win. Well, history shows you've got to win more than half your games, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, that didn't happen. So, I'd say the Warriors will be on the lookout now for next year, and without being disrespectful to them, Marty, because I think some players come on real well, but they are showing class. They're showing that they lack class, in my view.
Can you be more specific in certain positions, or is it overall in the squad? I look at it and I think that, there's three or four, really kind of, I suppose, standout players required to get to a level to be able to compete with the elite. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to point the finger at it.
Sure, mate, that's fine.
They've got really strong forwards, but you need actual class. You need real class to win big games. And the Warriors, the majority of the time, lacked no effort at all. They didn't lack anything at all in the effort department, but just those moments that just come along through an 80-minute period require class to grab hold of them, and maybe that's what the Warriors might be looking for come season 25.
A couple of games that stood out to me over the weekend and a couple of performances. Reynolds coming back for Brisbane, and he might be 80% or 85%, but you could just tell the difference that guy made in terms of the other guys around him. And then Nathan Cleary yesterday, and Nathan had a game like he did in the grand final where he made some mistakes and he missed some tackles, but when it came to the winning time, the moment of the game where you need your best player to do something, a 43-metre field goal to win it is extraordinary.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's the moments of class. Those little moments, they present themselves once in 80 minutes, and it's players of class that rise to that moment. And that's the sides that go through. And the Broncos, like you say, they're a good example. The Broncos are class. Everything about the Broncos is class. All you got to do is drive anywhere near their training areas. They reek of class, and that's why they'd be so disappointed with where they found themselves at the moment. But that win over the weekend will really propel them, I think. And I wouldn't put it past them to win the grand final from here.
Wow, you're kidding me? You serious?
No, that's because they've got class, mate. They've got class, and you require class to when the difficult parts really come along. You need absolute class from the coach, from everyone right through, and I think the Broncos have got it. The Warriors have got a bit of class, and I think the Warriors have got one of the best coaches in the league. But they lack. They're probably guilty of. There's too many players that pretty much look the same and play the same. If you look at the Broncos, there's every second player plays differently to the one inside them. Do you know? I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
No, I think
properly,
you're right. Look, it's the difference between having a Kiko as a second rower, a guy that is a destroyer who can fling a pass, whereas the Warriors got really good solid guys, but all of them can do that. It's the difference between having, I know Joey Manu is probably the best player in the world, but having a centre like that. And as opposed to having two guys that are good 7 out of 10s at their best every game, that's fine, but you don't have that. It's also about having express pace, which we don't seem to have. I mean, look, but this is all strengthening the squad. Graham, one of the things that frustrates me right now is that after last season, I said at the beginning of this season, the only thing I wanted was just to make the 8. Because, and you know this, mate, that to attract the best players, to actually get guys from Australia who can look at us and think, it's not Tasmania, I've got a realistic future there, you've got to start making the finals 4 or 5 years in a row. That's where you get that reputation then that you are a legit club. Would you agree?
Absolutely, and it's just funny. I've been over here for 10 days now, and it's quite interesting. Just talking to different guys that I know quite well in the league scene over here. And the big thing about their clubs is they don't aim to get into the top 8. None of them aim into the top 8. They all want to win it. They just aim to win it. That's their goal.
Right.
You don't talk to them about coming 7th or 8th. They only want to talk to you about winning it, and that's the feeling I get. Even though they're not there, nowhere near it yet, but they're getting close to it. But I just think the class that the Brisbane Broncos have got could be a good example of what I'm trying to say, because give them a sniff and they'll take it, and they're good enough side. They're good enough. They've got a classy enough side to go right through. And on grand final day, you've only got to win that 80 minutes.
I know that the league gets harder every year, and this is one of the things that I don't know whether a lot of Warriors fans have got head around this year, is that finishing 4th last year is no guarantee of anything, because every team gets better. Do you think that, and I'm looking at the points table in front of me at the moment, mate, you've got the Bulldogs on 6 on 24 points, and that goes all the way down to number 9 on 24 points, and then you've got 22 teams on 20, the Warriors are on 19. The Sharks are only on 26, a win above all of those teams that are in that logjam for 6 to 8. My long-winded question is it getting tougher every year? Look, the teams that are at the top, your Panthers and the Storm seem like a class, but are the rest of the teams getting better, and have they been better this year?
Marty, in all honesty, I've never seen 1 year since I've ever been involved or watched in the footy over here in Australia. Every single side improves every year. And the sides that think they've done enough and they're developing, everything's going good, if they sit back, they'll get left behind.